Hi, my name is Callie Surridge, and I'm going to be doing an activity analysis of making a pizza. Making a pizza falls under instrumental activities of daily living, or IADLs, as it falls under meal preparation and cleanup. One of the important first steps of doing an activity analysis is identifying the objects required. This includes the transportation, money, and resources to obtain the materials. So for today's excursion, I went to Trader Joe's to buy all of the ingredients for this. The supplies required for this activity are pizza dough, pizza sauce, pre-grated mozzarella, cherry tomatoes and artichoke hearts for the topping, and olive oil cooking spray for the pan.
And lots of flour.
The tools required are a rolling pin, a pizza cutter, a spatula, an oven mitt, a pan, and the equipment needed will be the oven. When making a pizza, it is also important to consider the space and social demands. Typically, pizza will be made in the kitchen, which also plays into the social demands. Whether there are family members or kids running around the kitchen, it is important to ask permission to use the oven to make sure that that space will be available for meal prep. And it is also important to have a large surface to roll out the pizza dough and put together all of the supplies. During this activity, we will also analyze the steps required to make the pizza. First, we have our plain surface. We are going to put flour on the surface and put our pizza dough flat on top. We'll also put flour on the top to prevent it from sticking to the rolling pin. We are going to roll out our pizza dough. It's always really hard to roll. So we have finished rolling out our pizza dough. Some of the things that we'll analyze during an activity analysis are the client factors, particularly visual functions. It is important that the client is able to see what they are doing in this task to be able to manipulate the different tools needed and reach for the different supplies. It's also important that the client has some degree of muscle power, as rolling out the dough does require some muscle strength. It's important that the client has some process skills of choosing the right materials, using the right materials, handling them with proper care, and sequencing the steps needed. It's important that the pizza dough is rolled out first and then the pizza sauce goes on second, as well as all the other steps required in making the pizza. One of the tools we will also need is a serrated knife to cut the tomatoes. Now, the action of cutting the tomatoes requires manipulation and calibration, not using too much strength or finger movements associated with cutting tomatoes. So we are going to spread these tomatoes on top of the pizza. And lastly, we are going to take our artichoke hearts, which are already pre-shredded, and we will put those on top of the pizza. Another important component of an activity analysis is the time constraints. So when making a pizza, it's important to note that we will need to preheat our oven beforehand. We have it preheated to 425. It took about 10 minutes to heat up. And now we will put on our oven mitt, place our pizza in the oven, and we will set the timer for 10 minutes. Now that we are done making our pizza, we do have a cluttered workspace. And while it is important to understand how a client would restore or clean up the space, that is an entirely different activity. And so for the purpose of today's activity analysis, we will be solely focusing on how to cook the pizza. So now we have finished our activity analysis of making a pizza. It is also important during an activity analysis to understand how the activity might be meaningful to the client. In regards to meal prep, if somebody is making the meal for somebody else, it might give them confidence and a sense of purpose as they're able to care for the people around them. In regards to making a meal for yourself, it equates to more independence, being able to do things on your own. That's that. I'm Callie Surridge, and I give this meal a thumbs up.